Living the good fat life with your host Karen and Sherri. They'll help everything align for your body, soul, and mind. The good fat life, whether change comes slow or dramatically. The good fat life will help you sort things out organically.
Here we are again. Every time it makes me laugh.
Oh my gosh, I know. You are so right.
Yeah. Having a theme song is everything.
And so as I was listening to it, I was wondering, it's funny, it's like I was thinking 10 years from now, where's this theme song going to be? Is it going to be a household name? You know?
Yeah.
Like, good?
Yeah. That would be wonderful. But, I was thinking, I think I'm going to get my kids a theme song for Christmas. I think I'm going to ask maybe my friend Wally to write them a theme song, because what better way to start your day but have your own little theme song, right?
Oh,
would that be a lovely gift?
It would be. Yeah. We have been singing since my kids were teeny, Good Morning to You, every morning.
Yeah.
And now we sing it with the grandkids.
Yeah.
And everybody smiles.
Yeah. I met somebody that said he was very successful. I said, how'd you do it? He goes, I got a theme song.
Oh.
Yeah. And it propelled him forward and made him get his goals. He just heard it in the back of his head every time he doubted something.
I love that. That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah.
You
know what else is cool? Good Fat Life magazine. So you guys check it out. Is. Click on our QR code or go to goodfatlife.com. And we are so proud of this issue, this gathering. And I think when we first started out, remember, Sherri, we kept saying, we want to talk about things that are ungoogleable, which is hard to say and hard to do. And we even had a few seconds where you couldn't even Google us because we're such strong manifestors, right? But it's like one of those ethereal things that you try to explain gathering, but somehow I think we've portrayed it here in the photographs. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the whole magazine.
And in the whole magazine.
What does that mean?
And because gathering is, after what we've gone through with COVID and not gathering, right? It's taken on a new, I don't know, importance.
Well, yeah, and also showing up as your whole self in gatherings, right?
Yeah, and it's difficult.
You can't take it for granted, right?
No, we can't take it for granted, and there's different rules and all that. But before we
dive into, you can't take for granted
what?
Friends like Jennifer McGovern,
right?
Yeah.
And technicians who find their chicken.
Yes. Yeah. Ranch. Never take ranch for granted, Johnny and his family, because our tech guy, his chicken ranch did not come back last night. Right. And thankfully Ranch made it back home. So let's give a big say a prayer, round of applause for Ranch is back.
Exactly. And it's that reminder, right, of those little things. It's the little things. We have a feral cat that adopted us. He's been here with us about 2 years now. His name is Brutus.
So he adopted you.
He adopted us, right? He showed up on our doorstep. Actually, the story was we were heading to Montreal for Christmas. It was like a really cold Christmas, but our cat wouldn't come inside. Cats don't. They have their mind.
They don't want to do what you want.
But exactly. And so finally, it was just like, right. She's on her own, and whatever will be, will be. Well, and it was like -10 during that Christmas. It was cold. We were gone for a week, and we came home, and our cat was sitting there waiting for us. And then there was this other cat who had showed up, and this male cat, and my husband named him Brutus. And we know that our cat had found this cat, and this cat had shown her how to live through the winter.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so Brutus just kind of kept showing up, and we just kind of would feed him. And then by the end of the summer, so you've got 9 months, he actually came in the house, and he's been with us ever since. But it's hysterical. My husband hates cats.
Of course.
Hates cats, right? And he won't go to bed until Brutus comes in. And when Brutus comes in, he rubs him when it's colder out or wet with a towel that he has put in the dryer.
Oh, how cute.
So, of course, the cat goes outside and comes back in, outside and comes back in, right? Because he likes his...
Yeah. Johnny, do not put a warm towel around your chicken. You're going to get some weird smells, have some weird feelings. Don't do that. You don't want to warm up a chicken.
But it's interesting, we were going to talk about, life stuff today. There's a lot of people that are not feeling good. They're unhappy and sad, and our society is in kind of a polarization. And so often it's those little things, right? The little things that if we can just stop and be present for that, for our chicken or that shows up, or our cat, or good drinking water.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. So I know, Jennifer, so tell me about your shoe story.
Yeah, I got a fun story. Okay. So talking about being present, I have found that one gift that I learned from 2020 is to be more present and to be grateful for everything that I have. And so one of the things in getting ready and prepared today, I spent a lot of time every day being very thoughtful with my intentions and my prayer and selecting what I'm wearing. So I selected my favorite pair of black shoes, and I never noticed before, but on the back of them, it says, "Be you." And I thought, well, I'm going to. So I picked out the right accessories today so I could show up and be me.
And be me.
So we'll see what that is.
That's awesome.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. Well, we love you.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and we were talking, is all three of us have had experiences that have been where you just don't know how you're going to get through, right? And they were big deal life changes.
Yeah.
And I know there were times in my life where the only way I could get through the day was to break it down to the next minute. I can get through the next minute, but I can't see beyond that, right?
Right.
And somehow the next minute becomes 2 minutes and becomes 5 minutes, and you realize that there's other people out there maybe who are going through their things. So let's talk about that a little bit, because there seems to be a lot of sadness, anger, fear going on right now. And sometimes it's the littlest thing. It's that little smile, offering of a good, healthy bottle of water that can make the difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know for myself, my journey has been a lot of twists and turns. There's been a lot of unhappiness. And I think part of the misconception, and I'd like to break that today, is just because somebody is smiling, just because they offer a lot of kindness, they might seem like they have it all together. They probably don't. I think we all have a beautiful brokenness that is in us, and that it is unique, and it is gifts that we can offer other people. Because when we go through those difficult times, I don't think we're just supposed to wear it as a badge of armor for ourselves and keep it hidden inside. I think we're supposed to be able to lift other people up and give them courage and hope, because sometimes that's all you need for that minute.
So I had a conversation this morning with a very dear friend whose daughter is going through a real difficult time. And my friend is an external kind of a person. She needs to talk stuff out. I tend to take it inside more, right? Yeah. And reflect. But so I told her, I said, if you need to just call and just puke all over me with, blah, 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 I'll just sit, I'll just listen. It's no big deal. And so this morning she did, and she needed to, and it was fine. Right. But some of it is we need to understand how we process things and what we need, and then find those people that can support us with that. And so, we were laughing at the end of it, and she felt better, and it was 5 minutes of my time.
Right.
And that's kind of the gift, is being able to be there for people in a way that truly supports them.
I find too that I know from my experience that the most difficult times, what has sought me through besides my faith and my core self, is the fact of taking the focus off of myself and taking my focus and being intentional about how I can be open to helping others and being able to serve others and doing good. Because it took my focus off of my problems and onto life, because life is fluid. It doesn't stop for anybody. And when we allow ourselves to be stifled with fear and anxiety, and allow anger to resonate and all of these other things, it's because we're trying to take control of something that we have no control over.
Right.
And when we surrender that, which it can be one of the most difficult things as an individual, to surrender something that you treasure dearly, but when you surrender that and you walk forward and you're looking for opportunities and how you can serve genuinely other people, not only does that bless you, but it helps them. It helps them. And then, things have a way of working out. They might not always work out the way that we intend.
But we always like to say this or something better.
Yes.
Because it's always something better.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But things always have a way of working out. Even when you don't feel like it, it is. It's sending you where you're supposed to go.
Absolutely. I was telling some ladies that I fellowship with on a regular basis and saying that sometimes the gifts that we receive are oddly wrapped and we don't know what to do with them, or we don't know how to receive them. So maybe they sit. But if you come into every day with an open heart and intentions on just being available, it's amazing how you can use those gifts.
Right.
And don't you think it has to start with you and loving yourself and knowing yourself first before you can give it to other people? I think as women, we tend to want to give and think we'll figure that out later.
It has to come from a sense of wholeness, not just doing things out of a response. I feel like that there's something inside of me that compels me to help others, but it's this compass. It's my heart's compass that tells me to, what to do and different things like that. And I may have intentions that I'm going to do this, and then I have a divine appointment, or I have somebody that really needs me. And if I'm not in the right mindset, I can overlook that, and I don't want to miss those opportunities. I've had these shoes for months, and I just, for the first time, saw Be You. Yeah. And that was a reminder.
Yeah. It is. It's so in the in the January issue, we're launching a program campaign. I don't know, a way of being. We'll find the right words. Yeah. 60-day happy, right? And one of the things that I'm so excited about, because I've been testing out this stuff. Everything is, because everything has to be evidence-based. We don't just, we
let's try the see the sticks,
But we do that too, right? We're playful. And one of the things that, we always hear about gratitude, having a gratitude journal, but it's noticing those things, right? It's noticing those little things. And so each day, at the end of the day, you will write down at least 3 things that you noticed. Yeah. And then celebrate it. Mm-hmm. And so the celebration right now is a happy dance for, you pick the song. Mm-hmm. Like I told my kids, I've been picking Milli Vanilli lately.
That's great.
Yeah. But it's happy, or the Village People, or, just songs that make you happy and you just want to move. Mm-hmm. But what I'm loving is that it's really kicked up, and it's not and you can't write down, you can write down, but the suggestion is that you write for those things that are not your norm. Yeah. Right? So it's easy to say clean water, my family, my friends, my health, all of those things. But the ask is look for those, be you. Yeah. Those little nuancy things that you might not have noticed before, write them down, and then find a time during the day to celebrate those.
I think that's
with a
beautiful.
happy dance.
Yeah, it's awareness, right?
Yeah.
I think building playfulness into your day and your interactions is so important. It's something I really adore about my husband, is his sense of humor and playfulness, and how he can take something that maybe it's cleaning the house or doing something that seems very ordinary, make it extraordinary.
Yeah, that's a gift.
It is a gift. Yeah. It is, and I embrace that. It is a wonderful gift.
Yeah. So that's anyways, we're looking for those kinds of things to just raise our awareness and build them in more, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I found that I've been just the more that I'm going through shifting and changing and sort of looking at my life and trying to be become the best self, the most intentional self. It's like I believe everything I always needed was always there. I just wasn't aware of it.
Right.
And a couple of days ago, I just had this almost like this voice in my head said, universe, God, source, whoever, show me a feather. And I was inside. And I had these slides where my daughter's doing this art project with old picture slides. And I just picked up 2 stacks of it. And I just knew there was going to be a feather. And, slides are hard to look at. You got to put them up to the light and everything. And I looked at a few stacks and they weren't there. But I thought, no, God's showing me, or universe is showing me this. I need to get this. So I picked up one and I looked at it and I kept looking at it. I held up to the light and there's a bird on a man's head.
Wow.
And then then I just became more aware, and I heard become more aware, and I held it up more to the light and I looked at it and there was like 5 birds in it. But not until I calmed down and took a breath and really looked at it could I see the first bird or the other birds. And so I taped it on my window so I can always see that. But I thought, everything you need is always there. You're just you got to become aware and listen. Take away your thinking and go to your thoughts. And it was just so poignant for me because I'm like, wow, I'm getting messages all day long and things are here. And if I ask for it and listen, it's really here, Right. I mean, that's a silly example, but.
No, but there's a poem called The Train. My mom, that's one of her favorite poems and it's one of mine. And essentially it talks about how people are hurrying to get on the train, hurrying from destination to destination. They're waiting. But the beauty isn't the destination. The beauty is in the journey. The beauty is looking out the window and seeing the trees and the mountains and the rivers. The beauty is having those conversations with strangers, with what meal you're being served. With the time that is passing, your thoughts, reading a book, listening to music. It's the journey. And if we just slow down, and it's really hard, you have to be very, very intentional. But if you just slow down, then you can give your best self to whatever you're looking at. And then the things that are not purposefully meant for your life will start falling away.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Okay.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's when we try to hold on to them, that's where the suffering is.
Yeah.
The things that are supposed to be falling away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And take time to rejoice in somebody's chicken coming back together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like those moments,
Yeah.
Because they are big moments.
They
really,
are big moments. Yeah.
Right?
So if his chicken didn't come back, I'm guessing his night would be totally different, right, Johnny? Yeah.
And I love his name Ranch. That's so awesome. I'm so tickled.
Yeah.
I was raised on a farm in Oregon. It's still there. And my dad loves cows. Loves cows, right?
I do too.
He's a doctor by trade, but
cows
he loves cows.
Yeah.
And he would go out in the morning and call the girls in, right? And have a talk. And there was just something magic about that.
His cows play soccer? I think you said that. No.
But they come, they come up, and they were kind of loping up and, little moo. And there's just something so magic about when you can be present with animals and outside. I'm starting to really get the magic of being outside in nature.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They say everything you need to know, nature is showing you as well. Go out in nature, it'll show you.
Mm-hmm. And living in Michigan, it's I don't know, that because the seasons change. Mm-hmm. And so in the winter, you do winter things. And in the summer, you do summer things. And there's something really magic about that. Mm-hmm. Like winter. Like, what's your favorite winter thing to do, Jennifer?
You know what? For the first time, I think I'm going to start discovering that because so long, my life has been about the destination. It's been about making sure my children were okay before I was okay. It was to make sure that my friends and family were okay. It was to make sure that people that were suffering were okay. And I feel blessed that I've been able to be a part of all of that. But I'm just discovering that. So I don't have an answer for that yet.
Okay.
I'm just discovering.
Yeah.
So you're going to have fun.
So I'm going to have fun exploring.
Exploring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
What about you, Sherri? What's your favorite?
There was in my house, I have a chair that looks out over the lake and the trees and stuff, and it when the leaves would fall and it would get really barren and cold and stark. Mm-hmm. Well, my mom sent me a picture of a Monet, just a postcard of a Monet in the winter. And I don't know what it was, but when I would look at that, before I saw the Monet picture, I would see it kind of as stark and cold and blah. Mm-hmm. And after I saw the Monet picture and I realized that's what I was looking at from a different perspective, all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, it's the time when we settle in. We're hibernating, if you will, mm-hmm. and going inside and allowing us to rest and mm-hmm. to get ready for the spring and what's coming. And so I found ever since then, this has been a couple years, ever since then, I've absolutely loved the starkness and then the crispness of the air and the cold. Mm-hmm. And so it just changed. It's funny how something, just a postcard mm-hmm. with a picture on it, it just changed everything.
Well, it's just the little things, right?
It's
and
those little tiny
aware.
things.
And that probably really affected your seasonal affectedness.
It totally affected it. I went from to, it's cold and it's wet and all these things to, oh my gosh, it's magnificent. It's our time of rest. It's the season of rest and rejuvenation, kind of reflection. And
I think that's beautiful. And I think that's, again, prompting by the seasons. Like, everything is kind of going dormant, like you said, and this is a good time for us to rest because spring is renewal.
It is, and to appreciate that contrast, mm-hmm. right? And the other part of it was, I realized that it's not just some, I don't know, fluke of nature that it's winter and it's cold and it's dark. It's intentional. It's part of the magic process of life. Mm-hmm. And so then it's like, whoa, okay, right? Bring it on.
Well,
so how about you?
Well, speaking of the process of life, so I've been really thinking about like what my strengths are, what my gifts are, and I've been getting a lot of information through my ears, and I feel like I'm having like almost like an audio clarions, I think it's called, maybe even a psychic ability through like information I'm getting through my ears, and I mean like pressure and like vibrations. I know that sounds strange, but and I started thinking about that, and I started thinking about it in every season. And my favorite thing to do in the winter is when it first snows and you go outside, it sounds different.
Oh, it does. You're right.
Yeah, the
and
silence.
Silent is to me from beyond, and it's so it stops you in your tracks, and you notice it right away. So I think I'm going to spend a lot more time taking time to be in that silence and what that tells me, because that's something that really resonates with me. And I thought it's in every season, mm-hmm. and it's in winter. So I love to do that. I love to just take note of that.
That's
beautiful.
Cool. I also notice when it snows, just the hint of snow, and it's like my 5-year-old self comes up. I can't help it. Everybody is like, it's snowing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's snowing.
Yeah. I know. I love it.
It was so interesting. I was touring DC with my family one time, and it started raining. And we're like, oh, and we were all outside and everything. And my dad said, if it was snowing right now, we would be having a blast. And I'm like, well, we can have a blast. It's just a different form of like,
liquid.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, you're right. Why would we be having a blast? It's just the same wetness. It's just differently. So I'm like, well, we can have a blast with any kind of water coming down on us. But yeah, snow really, it does make you feel playful. And
it is happy, and it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I think of the snowflakes, how they're all uniquely designed. Not one is like another. And I love the real fluffy ones that come down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just kind of land, and they kind of just live there for a little while. Yeah, I like that. I like taking night walks in the winter.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then when you think about it, there's so many names for snow. Isn't them? They have like a million. The Eskimos have like
Eskimos
they have like
we have like snow.
Yeah,
it makes it sound like a bad word.
Yeah, but there's probably a snow for everything you need to learn. And I'm guessing there's probably a rain for there's probably a metaphorical sort of rain. You know what I mean? And if you tap into that,
well, growing up, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, right, in Oregon, and it rains a lot in Seattle. And yes, you had a whole 30 different rain outfits because it's a drizzly rain. It's pouring rain. There was all those nuances around the rain. Yeah.
And how do you think that affected you growing up in a rain, moisture filled area? Do you think it affected you, or how?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
There was when we moved from Oregon to Ohio, where the seasons were much more pronounced and it would be snow instead of cold rain. I realized that I loved the outdoors because I always thought I hated the outdoors. And what I realized is I didn't like the cold, rainy outdoors. And so it was just like, wow, that's eye-opening. And little things. But now when it rains, I feel this sense of peace of coming home when it rains because it doesn't rain that much here. It's just funny how that those things and also the smells of the seasons. Right?
Yeah, I love that.
To your point, so there's the sound, but there's also the smells. And they're different when you live in different places. And that triggers so much.
And I think we're drawn to different places of where we're supposed to go for what we need and our gifts and challenges. I know I took my kids on a trip to New Mexico, and it was so beautiful there, and we just loved it, and all of our energies was really raised up. But we kept driving around, and it didn't matter. Like, one of us would say it every day, like, well, where's the water? It was like we were trying to drive towards water that we felt was there, but it's not there. But we kept finding ourselves trying to go towards, we felt this energy keep going towards water. And it was so strange. It made us realize, like, yes, we feel great in the West and everything, but we are probably more water people and need to be near the water. And that's really important to have an awareness of that. Yeah. So I'm wondering, I think it's just curious how people grew up in different climates and why they're there and how they can learn from that and bring it to other places,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how nature can elevate your mood. I know driving in today, the sun just burst through the horizon, and what a contrast it was from yesterday's Michigan gray day. And I just felt so happy in my spirit. I just was like, oh, this is beautiful. And I need rays of sunshine. It's almost like I feel like a solar battery, like I need the recharge, but it does. It makes me happy.
But I find that I don't like to be in sun every day.
Well, I would, and I wouldn't want to be like sitting on the beach necessarily baking.
Yeah.
But to have that nice filtered sun, that just really resonates with me.
But when we have the contrast, right? So like in Southern California where it's sunny every day, it's too much.
Yeah.
But to your point, like that, it's like, oh my gosh, it's such, maybe it's just what we get used to.
Right.
Or we take for granted.
Right.
And have you ever noticed, like, there's certain people, and I know for me, I feel like when I'm on the water or near the water, I make my best decisions. I'm the most clear. It's definitely water for me. Do you guys have any sort of element that you feel that way?
Water.
Yeah.
I feel peaceful when I'm at and my husband loves the water, but I love sunsets and sunrises on the water. I love just wading in water. I think it's just very, I don't know. I think it's very miraculous. I like it. I feel so blessed. I can drive just about anywhere, and there's a lake or a private lake, and I love water.
Well, and that's the gift of this area of the country, right?
Right.
And you forget about it when you leave, because I was gone for 22 years and we moved all around. You forget how important that is and how grounding that water is. It really is. It's a real pull. And, I said on our previous show, we don't have great water buzz, but you mentioned the Great Lakes. That is,
oh yeah.
How lucky
That's
are we
huge.
to have that?
Right.
I was referring to Flint, but having the Great Lakes here really become aware of that. What does that mean for you in your existence, and how you can bring that to other places when you go? I don't know. I just found it all fascinating. Yeah.
You feel it. Growing up, we were an hour from the ocean, and my mom lives right on the mouth of the Columbia, as it goes into the ocean.
Wow.
I mean, you literally just sit and watch the freighters come up and down from her window. And there's such an energy there, right? And so when we moved, it was really important to be on the water because we had the option because there's lakes everywhere here.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Great Lakes, which are just majestic.
Yeah.
Right? They are. And then so for me, like growing up on the West Coast, the idea of the Great Lakes was majestic. So, you know, it's just interesting how those things, they're subtle, but they do make such a difference.
Yes.
And to be able to appreciate it.
Yeah, and we started off kind of talking about the challenges we have been in our life, but just the overlay conversation of like the water and the earth and nature, just already it just seems like anything's possible because we have those elements in our life, right? So we have all those things that we need to go to sort of think through things, water, sun, all those things. It's like just become aware of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, you know, all those things have always been here,
Always
right?
been here. Yeah.
We just have to notice it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And knowing when it's time to be, like you said, alone with God, or to be with your friends that can lift you up. And just like you did with your girlfriend, Sherri, where you just were a vessel just to listen and to minister to her, or whether you're speaking life into somebody or encouraging them, or just being fun and just making somebody laugh.
Happy dance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the happy dance.
To Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
For sure. I got to get my song and do my happy day.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm excited to hear what your the theme songs are.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
For sure.
That'll
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that I'm wondering if Good Morning to You is a theme song.
Maybe
Maybe it is. I know my grandkids associate it with me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's well, ladies, this has been amazing as always, and we're coming into the holidays and our gatherings. So I wish you amazing gatherings and all that brings.
And make sure everybody makes good fat the center of the gatherings.
Absolutely, good
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah.
The center. I've just been making. I have guacamole every day. And I've just gotten so I can eat it with like celery, which is better than chips, right?
Yum.
So
Yum, I love it.
Just that sentence, I'm like, Sherri, you are the luckiest girl in the world. You have guacamole every day. That sounds fantastic. Yeah.
yes, it
Yeah.
is. So all right, well then
Yeah.
let's go out and live our good fat life.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here. Yeah.
Thank you so much.